If you take wikis out of the equation, in order to communicate more complex processes to the business, we would normally depend on extensive documentation that may include information and process diagrams. Of course, such documentation can quickly become outdated. Some organizations store this information on an intranet site as static files. The problem with this approach is that documents are often downloaded once, after which people don't come back to retrieve the latest version. When rolling out new initiatives, organizations will need to think about how new processes can best be communicated to and disseminated throughout the business. If the processes are complex, a simple email will probably not suffice. Also, you need to have a think about which stakeholders will need to receive the email, which departments require what information, and how you will work with middle management to ensure the message is being passed to all employees. To demonstrate how a more complex process would be rolled out in a Web 2.0 company like Atlassian, let's take a look at our recruitment, selection, and induction processes. To communicate these processes in their entirety, many organizations would need to put together manuals filled with interview guides, induction forms, and job descriptions for the whole company. This is one of the reasons why they would not normally be communicated in their entirety. The problem with separating these processes into bite-sized chunks is that people will often have to refer to another manual and consequently lose sight of some of the fundamentals and relationships between the different processes. Here you can see a high-level overview of Atlassian's recruitment, selection, and induction processes. Again, we've used the flowchart plugin to create this flowchart so that it can be easily updated using the wiki itself. On the left column, people get a quick overview of the required actions. On the top row, people will see for what candidate that action is required. Following the flowchart, we can see that a new staff request must be submitted in order to hire any new staff member, and that all technical leads will be invited to do a technical interview. Now, by itself, this flowchart may seem like nothing special, but there are a couple of key differences. Firstly, this process is documented online on a wiki page. This pulls people's attention to a central location where everyone sees the most up-to-date version of the page, as opposed to pushing out duplicate copies of the process to all staff, which may later become outdated. Secondly, I, or anyone else who has the permission, can easily make changes to this flowchart. All changes are recorded by the wiki so that I have complete control over the versions. Best of all, I don't have to ask someone who works in the IT department to make the changes on my behalf. Wikis remove the technical bottlenecks that you may experience with traditional intranets or websites. Using the wiki, I can effortlessly communicate this new process to the business as a whole and easily add to or adjust the process over time. Let me show you how we use this diagram. Firstly, it's really simple to add links anywhere on a page. In this case, the links have been embedded in the diagram itself. So, if I would like to find out what I need to do to request a new team member, I can just click on this link. Clicking on the appropriate link will take me to the page with all the information I need to know how to request a new staff member. Again, the benefit of storing all this information on the wiki is that when you need to make a change to a particular part of the process, you can easily make edits without having to redistribute the whole process. An automated update will then appear on the company dashboard, and those people that are watching the page will be sent an automated email notifying them of the change. On this page, the requisition process is explained, and more information can be found using the links. For example, I may like to learn more about a particular job description. Again, all of our job descriptions for all positions are created and maintained on the wiki. We can either navigate through the job descriptions by using the drop-down functionality to find the relevant job, or we can use the quick search box at the top of every page to quickly find the information we are looking for. As soon as you start typing, results are suggested for you. Back at the overview page, we can easily skip a couple of steps and find information about a different area without being discouraged by a stack of paperwork or a database that's difficult to search. A manager may want to be involved at a specific point during the interview process and find the relevant interview guidelines. Here, the interview instructions and questions are immediately available for the manager to view. Now, if the manager wanted to take home a hard copy of this page, he can easily print out a PDF version of the page. The great thing about storing this information on the wiki is that it makes it so much easier to utilize those little tools that we're all familiar with. As an example, if we require new staff to keep track of what steps they've completed throughout the induction process, they can use this simple task list to mark off those steps as they're completed. Again, all the information a new employee would need throughout the induction process is available online, and links to relevant information are made available to make it easier for new staff members to find their way around and to get familiar with our wiki system in the process. Communicating significant and important information throughout an organization is not a trivial task. At Atlassian, we make use of blogs, which are a quick and easy way to communicate information throughout an organization, whether that be a major company announcement or HR initiative. By publishing a blog, the whole organization is made aware of the announcement or initiative. Staff can then go and comment on the blog to generate a discussion around the topic.